Hi there, I'm Jim from Tabula Sono, and this is a video specifically for our alpha testing participants. If you're not part of the alpha though, that's okay, stick around. This video has some juicy tidbits, actual gameplay, and insider info, or something like that. So let's play. The first thing I want to talk about is the environment. So we have the grid floor here, we have a nice sky, there's some lighting effects. In order to change the environment overall, you're going to go to the world settings window on the right, and you see that we have a bunch of presets: night, day, sunset, dungeon, hellfire, toxic wasteland. Toxic wasteland, by my way, is my favorite. So just go through these, pick out your favorite, use it for your games, and be sure to let us know in Discord if there are any other ones that you want to see added. In order to move around, it's very similar to a third-person RPG. If you've ever played one of those before, the controls should be pretty intuitive for you. You're going to use either the WASD keys on the keyboard or the buttons down here at the bottom left to move yourself forward, to move yourself back, or to move to the left or to the right. Use the mouse wheel to zoom in and zoom out to get closer or farther away from what you're looking at. And hold down the right mouse button and move your mouse to pan the camera. You are panning around a little invisible ball that's in the very center of your screen, about right here. So whenever I move my mouse with the right mouse button down, I'm rotating around that invisible item. Whenever I move, I'm moving that invisible item, and the camera is always pointing at it. Let's draw some walls and rooms, shall we? Down at the bottom, there are two tools for you to use: the selection tool, which I'm in right now, and then the straight wall line drawing tool. Throughout Alpha, we're going to be adding more tools down to the toolbar down there, like a circular or a curved or a freeform wall tool, but for right now, we're just doing straight walls for this part of the Alpha. So select the straight wall tool, click somewhere on the ground, drag out, and it will create a straight line for you. These snap so you can get fairly accurate with those things. Let go of the mouse and you will have a wall. Hang on a sec, Jim, that's not a wall, it's just a line. Click on the selection icon, select the wall, and you notice down here at the bottom right that we have more tools. This first tool and the second tool are raise and lower. If I click the raise button and hold it down, it will raise the wall out of the floor. Ooh ah. If you push the lower button, it will lower it back down. You can go anywhere in between. You can get up pretty high and pretty low. We're going to leave it right here in betwixt. The other icons over here are rotation tools, all four of them. This first tool will snap rotate in 45-degree increments so that you can get very accurate with your rotations and you can keep everything inside the grid. So here's what that looks like. We can just rotate around here. If I wanted to have very precise movement and rotation, I can use these others over here. I would not recommend doing that for walls, but I'll give you a preview of that when we get into minis. So we have one wall. What good does one wall do ya? Let's turn it into a room. If you go into the wall line drawing tool and want to start a new wall, you can click anywhere on the floor to do that. But I actually want to extend my current wall and add to the room that I'm building. If you are in the wall draw mode and you mouse over an end cap of a wall, you'll see that it highlights. What that means is if I click and drag from here, it's going to perfectly connect to the existing wall and it's going to add it to the room that I'm drawing. So I'll just drag that out here, and let's just go ahead and make a silly little looking room around all of these minis. If I click on anywhere on this wall set, it's going to select the whole thing. So I can now click and drag that wall around and it will move the entire room. Or if I wanted to rotate them, I can use these rotate buttons. Also, if I raise or lower, it's going to raise or lower the entire group or wall. If you do not want to build a room and you want to keep walls separate, just make sure you don't drag off of one of these end caps. Instead, just draw a new line, and that will be in a separate group so that I can manage these two wall sets separately. Let's talk about miniatures. We already have a bunch of minis that have been plopped onto the board by the GM, and you notice they all have different colors. Those colors actually correspond to the color of the player that they're assigned to. If you click the player window up here at the top right of the screen, you're going to see all the players that are in the game, all of their colors. You can change the color by clicking on the color swatch and picking one of these options. The players can also do this themselves and change their own color. They can also change their own name here by just selecting and retyping. If I wanted to edit an existing mini, let's pick out this guy on the end, for instance, in this pinkish purplish color. He's down here in this pinkish purplish color. The master is the name of the mini. I can change this name here if I need to. I can also change the scale of the mini. Let's pop that up to 2x. Maybe that's too big. Go back to 1. We can reassign that to another person. It's going to change the color of the mini and make it so that only that player and the GM can move that mini around. Let's send that back over to where it was. And then you can change the model that you're using. If you click on the name of the model, it's going to pull open our token library. Right now, we have a very limited selection at the beginning of alpha, but we will be adding more and more every week with, I think, around 2,500 for launch of free miniatures. Also, categorization, sorting, filtering, blah, 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 all that stuff to make it really easy to find the mini that you want. For right now, I'm going to click the first one. So we'll go with this Acolyte free miniature. I'm going to switch that back to our Dungeon Master mini with glasses so that Ray L doesn't get mad at me. And then we'll talk about these other 3 options here on the right. First one is visibility. When you load something into the world, it is visible to your players. If you don't want it to be visible to your players, you can toggle that visibility by clicking the eyeball button. That's going to make it translucent to you, and it's going to disappear for the players entirely. If you want to make it visible again, just click the button. You can also right-click on a miniature or a wall and use Show for Players or Hide from Players to do exactly the same thing. The next option over here is Duplicate, also available in the right-click menu. It is going to do exactly what it sounds like and plop a duplicate of that mini right in the middle of the screen for you and select it. So now you can move this one around, or you can delete it. You can delete it by clicking the delete button over here on the right, or if you right click, there's also a delete button in there. You can move minis around by selecting them and moving them just like walls, and just like walls, you can rotate them. Woohoo, very nice. If you want to use these other buttons down here at the bottom right to rotate, you're going to get a lot more fine-tuned control. These aren't at 45-degree increments, and it allows you to do some cute things like maybe have your mini say, no, I don't want to do that. By the way, I'm using the E and Q keys on the keyboard as shortcuts for these down here. There are other keyboard shortcuts like that if you're an advanced user, you can use those. Otherwise, you can just use the buttons at the bottom. So that covers the basics of building and running a world in Tabula Sono. There are, however, some exciting advanced features, so stick around. For our advanced world builders, we know that just drawing a single wall at a time or dropping a single mini at a time is going to be very monotonous and tedious. So we've built some grouping mechanisms into the system for you. If you select one mini, you can move around just that one mini. If I, let's say, make a duplicate of that mini, if I wanted to move both of these guys in tandem, and by the way, I do, I would like to be able to select both of them. Click one, hold down the Shift button on the keyboard, select the second one. Now they are in a group together. If you move them, they'll both move. If you rotate them, they'll both rotate. Anything inside the right-click menu will take effect on everything inside your selection. So I have 2 items selected right now. If I hide, both will hide. If I show, both will show. If I duplicate, both will duplicate, etc. Once you're done with the group, you can just right-click and ungroup, and they'll become individually selectable again. If you are super advanced and you have a group and you don't want to get rid of the group, but you still want to select only one portion of the group, rather than just clicking on the mini, you can Alt-click or Option-click if you're on a Mac. And when you do that, it's going to just select the one piece of that group. Even if it's in a large group, it's just going to select the one piece. So that is super helpful. For instance, if this miniature was slightly out of alignment with everyone else and I wanted to select just that one to move it away, but still keeping the group. Another cool thing that you can do with that is in a room setting, in a wall setting, if you want to do something to just one of the wall segments but not all of them, you can alt-click on that wall segment to select just the one and then perform operations on just that one, like delete or duplicate, rotate, or raise or lower the walls. Well, I think that about does it for this tutorial. If you have any suggestions, like I said before, please jump into the Discord channel and let us know. We're always looking for ways to improve. Even if you're in the Discord and you still haven't signed up for the newsletter to be notified when Kickstarter goes live in February of 2022, please do that immediately so that you can be one of the first to know. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy using Tabula Sono.